second. India have won the test match. India have won the series. They're going to get back for two.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of the 81 All Out podcast. This is your host, Siddhartha Vaidyanathan, and I'm joined today by two regulars, Ashoka and Kartikeya. We'll link Kartikeya's Substack. He's been writing occasionally during this series. We are here today to talk about the third test between India and Australia that just finished in Brisbane. Ended in a draw. Plenty of the game was cut short because of rain. India were close to following on in the test, but managed to avoid it among great scenes of jubilation. 1-1 in the series after three tests is something that they would have probably taken at the start of the series, especially because the three tests included Adelaide's day-night test, a test in Perth and a test in Brisbane. All three venues where, it could have easily been 3-0. Let's put it that way. Jasprit Bumrah and Siraj and a set of wonderful performances in Perth helped them go one up, and then they've held on here. So now it leaves us with a two-test series in Melbourne and Sydney. Let's see what happens there. Few things about this test we could talk about. India's combination that they went with: Akash Deep came in, Harshit Rana went out. They kept Nitish Reddy in the side, as expected, I'm guessing, given what he's done with the bat, though, as we mentioned, he's not really giving that much with the ball. Their batting, Australia's bowling was awesome in the first innings. Australia was also a bit hamstrung by the loss of Hazelwood, not bit more than a bit, because that left them with just Cummins and Stark. Both, of course, bowled magnificently. Especially Pat Cummins. We can get to him. What an absolute marvel of a bowler he is, and turned out a fantastic performance here. And at the end of the test, of course, the talking point was Ashwin retiring from international cricket. A lot of emotional scenes there of him him announcing that to the team, and then the team reacting to it. Reactions from all over the world. In one of India's greatest bowlers, if not the greatest bowler, bidding adieu. Always a big moment. He did it in the middle of the series, which is a bit surprising, but who knows what the reason was. We'll get to Ashwin at some point. We'll first speak about the game, but we will spend a good chunk of time talking about Ashwin. So thoughts, reactions, Ashoka.
Once again, India won the toss, man. I think, and called Australia to bat, because I think they got spooked, winning the toss, batting, and getting bundled. But the Australians' first innings, I thought, was before even getting to that, I still think this is a strange team selection, because I really don't know what the value of a batting all-rounder, extra batting all-rounder is, when you already have picked Jadeja. Now they have picked three all-rounders for three test matches: Washington Sundar, Ashwin and Jadeja, and they have kept Nitish Reddy as constant. I don't know why you want two all-rounders in a squad, first of all. Why are you hedging your batting that much? Because there is evidence in this series that when the conditions are good, our batting is okay. We have scored a 480 in this series. It's not like we didn't score runs. But where we have struggled in the second test in Adelaide is we let Australia score like 330, 330. So that is where we struggled. Our problems are still in the bowling department, and we keep hedging for batting. So that is something that I do not understand what these guys are trying to do. Uh, I mean, they played Akash Deep for Harshit Rana. That is fine, but they should have had a fourth pacer as well there, and then had Jadeja. So that was the one thing, because that actually really hurt them, because the first 30 overs when Australia were like what 75 or something, three I think. Then the ball got old and India were basically reduced to Bumrah or nothing, and that was it. I mean, then with the old ball they couldn't achieve much. I read somewhere that Akash Deep was unlucky because he induced as many false shots as Ashwin, not Ashwin, sorry, as Bumrah. But still, we felt, it felt like India were lacking one more option in the bowling department, and it looked like Siraj was carrying some sort of injury as well. So
I mean, I think one of the reasons Akash Deep didn't play in the first two tests was because they wanted Harshit Rana's batting deep down, because he has a first class record, first class 100 and all that. But ironically, that I mean, ended up Akash Deep came in. We saw Akash Deep is a much more finished article than Harshit Rana. Nothing against Harshit, but he has a way to go. I mean, he's still raw, and that happens. And with
yeah, because
time,
I think Harshit has played what, 10, 12, 15.
12,
Yeah,
first class games. But compared to Akash Deep,
Akash Deep was played like 35, 36, no? 36,
and
37.
also has been playing Test cricket, has played that in India. He has played Tests in India. Was sort of ready. I would say ready for this series, and he bowled beautifully. I mean, with the first innings didn't have much to show in that on that first day, but I think he bowled beautifully. He's a great prospect, and also ironically, it was Akash Deep's batting that helped India avoid the follow-up. So it came back in a pretty humorous circle.
Yeah. So that was something that I had like I was puzzled, because India in the last 10 years they don't do this consistently, but they have decided to lengthen their batting order, which I think, if you have, my straightforward question is this: if you have a problem with your batting order, why don't you replace your current batters who you think need protection with new faces? No, you have people. No, you have Sarfaraz on the bench, you have Padikkal on the bench. Then replace them. No, what is the big deal of
Yeah,
adding
Durrell
more and
played.
more people?
Durrell played the first test for Rohit. Yeah.
Yeah. So do that if you think that these batters are going to need insurance in the end. Otherwise, if you keep lengthening your batting order, it's not the way to go in Australia, and it showed in the first innings. Like, yeah, we were, by the time your second new ball came, they were 300 for three, and Bumrah was pretty much. I mean, in 80 overs, he bowled around 20-22 overs, so he was tired, but somehow they managed to get wickets, and Carey used that tiredness of Indian bowlers, injury of Siraj, to good effect. He scored another 70, and they pretty much made 445. After that, you're far behind in the game, and they made their new ball count. I mean, they got like what, 4-5 wickets for 70, no? So yeah, we were 70. They were 75 for three. We were 71 for five, something like that. So they got two more wickets than us. And when the ball got old, your Jadeja, your Nitish Reddy, your Akash Deep, they all batted, they got runs, and we somehow avoided follow on. But, that is the thing. They have Cummins, Stark, and Hazelwood, and Lyon, who is not going to give you much runs. So their attack is like, far more tight than ours right now. And it showed. And that's why we were like 252 something all out. And after that, it was like, I don't know, man. Their second innings, they didn't look like they were going to bat patiently, anyways. They were trying to hammer everything, and they lost 7 wickets. I wouldn't read much into the second innings of Australia. And I think they wanted to give India like a 300 score target. as quickly up to and to bat as quickly as possible. So I wouldn't read much into the 7 wickets that India have got. But anyways, that was the game. So
Yeah, and to the question that Australia play four bowlers and Mitchell Marsh. So why can't India play four bowlers and Nitish Reddy? The answer is that Australia's bowling attack has more quality. I mean, Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood, who bowled in the first innings, and Lyon are four absolutely all-time greats. And India don't have that luxury anymore. I mean, when they had, say, a Nishant playing, or if Shami was there, then that's like a different question here. But given what they have with Bumrah, then the drop to Siraj, who's still very good, but then the drop from Bumrah to Siraj, and then after that, the further drop, I think you need that extra insurance. And I mean, Mitchell Marsh is probably far better bowling option than Nitish Reddy at the moment. I mean, who is to say whether Nitish Reddy will become a better bowler? He could. He may well become, in 2 years, he could be a much better bowler. But as of now, he's not.
So perhaps we should try to explain how they might be thinking, because part of the point of doing something like this instead of just watching quietly is to try to understand what's going on. No,
Sure.
for example, there's this whole thing going on. People are constantly comparing, Nitish Reddy's runs with the top order runs, and they're comparing Jadeja's average with, say, Kohli's average or Pujara's average or whoever, Gill's average. Now, I think there's something to be said. I mean, they did try this. They did do this in the 2018-19 tour. They did play 6 batsmen plus Pant in the 2018-19 tour. There was Vijay and Rahul opening, and then Pujara, and then Kohli, and then Rahane, and then number 6, they played Rohit Sharma, and then they played Pant, and then they played 4 bowlers. So they have done this before in Australia.
But then the 4 bowlers were Bumrah, Shami, Ashwin slash Umesh,
Ashwin,
and
Shami, and Ishant. Yeah. That was a good attack. Yeah. But they didn't do it again in 2020, right? In 2020, they went the all-rounder route. I think the way to understand it is that they respect this Australian bowling, and I mean, a lot of these wickets are new ball wickets, so they will have to make sure that there's some batting left to make some runs with the old ball. And I mean, the middle order runs are coming against the old ball. I mean, even the Australians made runs against the old ball. Right? I mean, McSweeney and Khwaja, they've done really well. I mean, even though they are not make big runs, they do soak up a lot of balls. They do.
And Labuschagne in Adelaide.
And Labuschagne, they do see off the seaming ball. I mean, for example, you can take Jadeja. No, Jadeja is everybody thinks he's a top player. Whereas, I mean, every Indian batter who plays in the top 4 is a much better player than Jadeja. I mean, Jadeja has played 114 innings in Test cricket for India. 110 of those have started after the 20th over of the Indian innings. When he starts in the first 40 overs of the innings, he averages 21. He's played 33 innings in where he started his innings in the first 40 overs of the innings, and he averaged 643 runs in 33 innings with 2 centuries and a 50, and he averages 22. When he starts his innings between overs 40 and 80, he averages 42. Okay, now you want to compare Kohli's record to Jadeja's record. Kohli's almost always starting in the first 40 overs of the innings. And in fact, a lot of the time, Kohli is starting within the first 20 overs of the innings against the new ball. It's much harder to bat against the new ball than it is against the old ball in a lot of these conditions, which are really new ball conditions. I can understand the urge to sort of prolong a match, because that's one of the things that it does. If you play the extra batter, you may concede a lot of runs, but it still takes time for the opposition to score those runs, and it still takes you, more time to get the opposition out. So it extends the match. Like for instance, in this match, if India had played, say, Harshit Rana instead of Reddy, they might not have conceded 445, but then they would have been batting much earlier. They might have had a chance to win the match, but they might also have had a chance to lose the match. So if you want to be negative, I mean, it's a negative selection clearly, but perhaps there's a point to the negative selection, especially given how good weather forecasts are nowadays. I mean, I would not be. I mean, Australia clearly today, Australia were batting, you know, uh, going for a declaration, and they didn't really have much choice. After the morning was rained off, like so much play time was lost in the first session. So it is negative, and from time to time they're going to be negative. No, I mean, plus the problem is not who's batting in the top order. The problem is that whoever bats in the top order is difficult when against the seaming ball. It's not. I mean, it's not like KL Rahul has been batting chancelessly. He's been playing lots of false shots. He's been dropped like 2 or 3 times in this series. They even in this match, even he was dropped on 33. A few times the sort of edge which Gill hit in this match. KL Rahul played those wide drives a couple of times, and luckily for him, the ball flew past gully. It didn't go to hand. So it's not like these players are that much different. It's that they need that much more. They feel the need to have enough batting so that when the conditions become easier, when the ball gets older, they at least have 1 or 2 batsmen left. Because then they can get some runs. Because frankly, there's a limit to how much they're willing to risk losing when they want to win. And when they've lost like 3 test matches in India, and then they've lost 4 of the last 5 test matches they've played, they are going to hedge. And it is negative, but it is. I understand why they're doing it.
Yeah. Also they are in. I mean, not to forget that Kohli and Rohit are getting older, and they probably also feel. Forget Kohli and Rohit. They also probably feel that insurance is needed for them. Also, right?
No, and if you read or listen to Pat Cummins's post-match presentation, even in Australia there is this concern that their top order is not good. Like Khwaja has not produced runs. McSweeney outside of that 39 has not produced runs. Labuschagne outside of that 50 has not produced runs. Steve Smith again today got out early. So all this is going on there as well. And Pat Cummins says that batting 1 to 4 is tough, man. And we know it. And that is precisely why why they have like Travis Head and Mitchell Marsh, because their bet is that these
and
top
Alex
4.
Carey, yeah.
Yeah, and Alex Carey. And their bet is that the top 4, their job is not to stat pad and make hundreds. If they make hundreds, great. But their job is very well defined, which is in Australia, the new ball does a lot. If you guys play out the new ball, then we have Travis Head and Mitchell Marsh.
No, and also one thing to remember is that Mitchell Starc and Cummins are also like pretty decent lower order bats, more than decent, I would say, compared to what India have. India have a bunch of number 11s in the lower order.
I mean, Siraj is much improved, but he's still in number 11 only.
But he's batting number 9.
What were you saying? Vivian Siraj.
Vivian Siraj, yeah. No, but yeah. So Australia also have insurance, which has come off. Like Travis Head is coming off brilliantly for them, and yeah.
So that hedge is, and basically India got a much more basic problem than like who they play for Reddy. I mean, it would help them to play a fast bowler for Reddy if they could. But their more basic problem is that their first change is not settled. Like they tried so many options. Prasidh Krishna's tried recently. In the last 12 months, they've tried Prasidh Krishna, Mukesh, Akash Deep, I think
Harshit.
even one of the test matches they even tried Saini in South Africa, no? Thakur, Harshit Rana.
I don't think they tried Saini, but I don't remember though.
And then over here also, Saini was in the A in
A
Australia.
squad, A squad, yeah.
And so they
No,
are
but
trying to work
Akash
out.
Deep is
who it is.
by far, I think, the most impressive.
I mean, he's sort of how do you say? He's accurate. He's also kind of medium pace though. I mean, he's not as quick as Shami.
He gets 135, man. Pretty consistent.
He's a good brisk medium pace. I mean, he's not fast bowler. Shami could bowl quick spells if he wanted to. But then everybody's not Shami. I mean, he's not going to get.
You're not going to get a Shami
220 plus wickets at 27. I mean, that's everybody doesn't do that. So.
Yeah.
No, so they are looking for bowlers and they have a problem. They haven't found them yet. They don't know who they are. It's the same thing on the spin side. No, I mean, they are trying Washington Sundar and they're going to try some slow left arm orthodox bowler in Jadeja's place also. They are Akshar Patel is the understudy to Ravindra Jadeja. So yeah, this is what a transition looks like. It means hedging. It means losing. I mean, so a lot of things are up in the air right now with the Indians. Suddenly, there are a lot of spots up for grabs, where the first choice is not clear. At least 2 fast bowling spots, at least 2 middle order spots, at least 1 spinner spot.
All right. So, yeah, lot of
that's why they might be doing it. But I mean, I think in this test match, it also worked for them. I mean, it did prolong the Australian first innings. And it also prolonged the Indian first innings, and it was enough, to save for the rain to save them. I mean, this is now after 2003, which was also a test match at Brisbane, which India drew thanks to the rain. This is another test match that at Brisbane where India have drawn it thanks to the rain. Although I think this is true that. In the modern era, Australia never won a series at home when they've not failed to win in Brisbane.
But that doesn't matter, no, because Hazelwood's replacement is Boland, and Boland is really good in Melbourne. So they have not lost a lot of quality.
One more injury is needed if they have to lose quality.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I think Boland is not as good as Hazelwood for sure.
He's not as good, but in his
he's not a debutant. No, that's the point. He's not a debutant.
He's also a Melbourne guy. That's his home ground.
Yeah, so. And he's not like David Warner's replacement is McSweeney. McSweeney is good, but not as good as David Warner. No.
Yeah, McSweeney's been good, yeah. I mean, he's a good player. He's a good player. He's basically, I don't know, he's as good as anything I've seen. I mean, a lot of come on, Khwaja and McSweeney are running into Jasprit Bumrah, man, time after time.
No, but I mean, Boland is their Aksar, man. He's like their home specialist.
He's the Australia specialist, yeah.
Yeah. So I think if Jadeja's injured for a home test and Aksar plays, we would be like, fine. So, I think, a lot of things up in the air. But what about the 2 biggest things up in the air? I think at some point of time, these people have to decide how old Kohli and Rohit actually are and how much more cricket they have in them.
What is there to decide how old Rohit and Kohli are? Just look up their ages. No, that is exactly how old they are. And
old, I mean, in terms of cricketing, old. In terms of reflexes.
Very old. 35 plus is old. That's it. It doesn't matter. And and you reached your end of your shelf life.
I feel it's reminding me of Sachin's last year, man, of international cricket. And now we have two Sachin-like creatures over there.
But what to do, man? See, that is the problem. No, see, when conditions were good, Kohli did it 100. in this very series. It's not like we are talking about 5 years ago. When conditions were good,
Yeah, but he
ball
came
was
in at
old,
the
he still
80th
hit.
over. He came in after 80 overs or something. Come on.
Yeah, it's like that. I mean, what to do? Ball is new, ball is doing much, and your bowlers are Stark, Cummins, and Hazelwood. What hope do
Yeah,
you have?
but I would rather have Sarfraz or Jurel in that situation.
See, no. The demand on Kohli and Rohit is finally if you take away all that bat with soft hands, bat with good technique, all that nonsense, if you take it out, as if they don't have do all that and they don't have all that. If you take all that out, all you're asking from Rohit and Kohli is be lucky. And how to do that? How to be lucky? How to make sure that you don't edge the ball? How to make sure that the ball doesn't move that much? How to make sure that the fielder drops the catch? How can they do that? I mean, it has happened to Rahul and he has scored 250s and he looks very good. But Rahul
No,
also was vilified, no? When in Adelaide he didn't score. So he was also vilified, no?
I would actually think I would actually go the other way. I would say maybe for Kohli, maybe the job is to do what McSweeney is doing for Australia, is to see off as much of the ball as much of the new ball as possible. And
And
instead
he
of
did that, man. He did that in Adelaide. He left so many balls, and then that's it. The first mistake he did got edge and gone. What? I mean, this is comedy, no? I mean, people don't notice when batsmen play and miss, man. It looks like a non-event. You turn that way, this way. Okay, this guy played and missed.
no, but Ashoka, this dismissal in the first innings, that was a bit of a going for it outside off, right?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. This test,
There is a
Kohli, I
difference.
agree. So this
There
test,
is a
Kohli,
difference between having bad luck the way he did at Perth and Adelaide and this test. I mean, of course, it's the sample size is small, but I'm just saying I don't know. Maybe the role is to see off the new ball. I mean, I don't know. Kartikeya, any thoughts on this, or will it just continue till the team says okay, it's enough?
I mean, what? Rohit Sharma got an absolute jaffa in this test match, man. And everybody, it would have dismissed everybody. I mean, he's got three absolute unplayable balls in this series. Man. And I mean, come on, you on the one hand, you say that these Australian bowlers are great bowlers, and then you're shocked when they actually bowl.
yeah, man. That is
unplayable
one thing
balls.
I don't understand. Where are these guys getting the wickets from if batsmen are not edging them? How did they become great? Yeah, I don't understand. You can't have two, contradictory stands,
But Ashoka, but that's I mean, you can tell, no, that there's the clue two classic traits of the modern fan, which show which are absolute tells that the motivation for watching is partisanship rather than interest in cricket. One is that these are people who say that, well, low scores are because batters don't care enough and because they are casual and because they don't have good techniques. And these are also people who say, well, yeah, Ashwin's record is because of doctored pitches. This is not. There's no cricket in any of this.
Okay, so let me ask a question, and I'm curious about this. So, is Rahul getting runs only because he's lucky, or is Rahul
Yes.
getting runs also because he's playing in a certain way that is helping him score more than the others?
why should one be one be true and one be false? If you
Yeah,
play to the best of your ability and play according to the situation and play according to the condition, all this tuning they would have done,
I
man.
don't think
but
Rahul is playing any different to what he used to. I mean,
no, my question is his game particularly suited to play in these conditions
no, man.
compared to
Kohli has made plenty of runs in Australia against these bowlers. So come on, man. Come on. You cannot. These are not players who fell out of the sky, in November 22nd.
yeah, but age also matters for reflexes, no?
No, man. These are these are three test matches which have been fast bowlers pitches where Nathan Lyon has had nothing to do, Ashwin has had nothing to do, Jadeja has had nothing to do, Washington Sundar also had nothing to do. I mean, and this is 3 out of the 4 spinners involved are like all-time great spinners. and they have nothing to do in these matches. Okay, Nathan Lyon bowled 1 over in Adelaide. Okay, these are not your average Test match pitch. These are nothing like the average Test match pitch you had in like 2003 or 2007 or 2011 or even 2014-15, where you had very good pitches. When India played against Mitchell Johnson and Ryan Harris. And I think also a young Mitchell Stark in one or two of the matches. They're leaving more grass on the pitches. Steve Smith says the ball has also changed. Since 2019, it does more. It's hard. It stays harder more for longer. Because Kookaburra has changed the way they construct the ball. So I get being disappointed, right? I get being disappointed when your favorite player is not scoring runs. But then you don't turn on the guy like this. Yeah, come on. Then he's not your favorite
it's
player.
not about turning on the guy. I mean, see, if we are saying that Nitish Reddy and Jadeja are coming down a little lower down the order and able to capitalize on the older ball,
Yeah.
the same should hold for Rohit, no? I mean, technically, he's also batting lower down the order.
Yeah, but he's batting above Jadeja and Reddy, no?
Yeah, but he's batting at 6, right?
And frankly, he has got 3 absolute jaffas.
No. Then the argument moves to this. In the last 5 years, he averages.
Yeah, but that's stupidity. No, that's not. That's not. This is not people. This is not a question about cricket. No, this is a question about, well, why are we not looking respectable? Which is a very, very dumb question. Like it's a complete waste of time.
It's not about that. It's about, see, over a large sample space of say 30 tests or whatever.
Yeah.
There is a drop. I mean, for Kohli,
but conditions have also been difficult. No, I mean, who's averaging 60 playing on these pitches in these Test matches? Man? Nobody. None of India's opponents are averaging 60. None of the other Indian batsmen are averaging 60. Okay, I mean, in India, it's not a surprise that in India the players who have scored the most runs have been openers. Jaiswal has scored a lot of runs in India. Rohit Sharma, in fact, himself scored a lot of runs in India when he's opening the batting. It's not a surprise. I mean, come on, when it seems and when it turns, it's hard to score runs because the unplayable ball is much more likely and it comes much more frequently. It's not that complicated. And occasionally, you'll survive. All the unplayable balls won't come to you, and when it comes, you'll be lucky. And when you edge it, it will fly past gully, and or when you edge it, it will be dropped. And then you'll make 80 or 90 or whatever, but most of the time you're going to get out for 15, 25, 40, whatever. It's not. I mean, it's just basic frequentest probability. Pat Cummins doesn't know that ball is going to seam, 1.2 degrees, which is a huge amount of seam movement. But he hopes that it will, and that 5.5 meter length, 1.2 degrees of seam movement. I mean, I looked it up. I posted this also. I have 577 balls by right hand bats to by right arm fast bowlers to right hand bats, which fall on that length and that line, and which seam away that much. And those 577 balls have produced 36 wickets and 197 runs. So, and that is against specialist batters in the top 6. So, specialist batsmen are averaging 6.6 against that ball. Okay, and they're getting out once every 16 balls. Okay, so it's not complicated. And at some point, these guys will get lucky and they'll score runs. We are always craving some explanation that he doesn't care enough, or he's not bothered about his technique.
No, I think the standard explanation is he's old. He's gone. The eye is gone. The hands are gone.
I mean, the eye does go.
It does.
I mean, Kohli does. Kohli has played a bit of an average shot, in this Test match. That is true. That first innings Kohli dismissal was a pretty wide one. But even that, I mean, that that is a risk he is often taken. I don't think he's going to stop taking it. I don't think he should stop taking it either. I mean, it's not a morality play, man. Come on, it's a game.
No, no, not a morality play, but it could also be a role, right? The role that you're playing. Suppose he decides that the role he's playing is to see off the new ball. He may not play that shot. So
Well,
that's.
yes, but perhaps.
But then he's also a bit too good for that. Maybe, yeah.
Well, he's also he wants to score runs. No, I mean, part of the point is that he, I mean, Rohit Sharma did try to see off the new ball. He did try, but he still got a peach. No, he still got a Jaffa. Actually, in all 3 innings, Rohit Sharma basically tried to see off the.
Yeah. Agree. And also in this test, one must emphasize that with the constant stoppages for play, it's not easy also for batters to go back and come back, go back, come back. A lot can disrupt the rhythm, and it's very hard as a batter to do that. I mean, it's all hard as a bowler too, because then you have to come back and warm up and all. But at the same time, in these conditions, it's very hard to bat like that. So.
Yeah, and these are. I mean, Pat Cummins is as like basically Jasprit Bumrah, just taller. I mean, so he is hard to play.
Yeah, I mean I mean, some of the thing with him in this test is that despite I just mentioned the disruptions, right, for rain and all, but he's able to come back into a spell. The first over is just absolutely brilliant, man. He's
First
like
ball.
perfectly.
There is no. I have not seen him bowl looseners, man. They're just on the money straight away.
He's like revving from the beginning. Yeah,
And he
brilliant.
gets some crazy lifts, man, from good length. That is something that very difficult to handle. He bowled a ball to Jadeja. I mean, from the good length, it just jumped up, man, and it took the edge and flew away on top of the slips. That I mean, that was the old ball, not even with the new shiny ball. Amazing
And that
bowler.
over to Nitish Reddy, when he came back and he got him,
He worked him. He worked him.
Could have got him out like 3 times in 4 balls, man.
He could have got him out 3 times in 4 balls, and he was like, every ball was like, the effort was palpable, man. Like, that guy he was absolutely brilliant in this match. I mean, he's
always absolute brilliant.
He's generally brilliant. Agree.
He's a great bowler. Probably the best in the world, except for our man right now.
I only believe in Jassi Bhai.
Our man who got 9 wickets in this test match.
He's got 21.
Conspiracy.
He's got 21 wickets at 11 or something like that in this season. It's ridiculous.
Conspiracy against Bumrah.
No, but Bumrah, see, even in the first innings, with all the other bowlers and compared to Bumrah just kept creating chances, man. Like chance after chance after chance.
Yeah,
like there's no other bowler is able to even get close to that level of chance creation.
Because Bumrah's control is something else, man. I mean, even Cummins, he'll sit on that 24-foot length. There's 7.5 meters. But occasionally he has this ability to go like 6 feet fuller, to go 18-meter length or 17-meter length or 19-foot length or 18-foot, that length, and the ability to shift back and forth between those two lengths, and deliberately is amazing in Pat Cummins, and it's also there in Jasprit Bumrah. They do this. And it's really hard to do because a lot of bowlers can't do it. The other thing Cummins does is that when he bowls that short ball, when he's trying to push the batsman on the back foot, even actually Mohammad Siraj also does this. He bowls cutters when he does that. So the ball actually changes line. So it's very hard to line up that short ball. It's like the batters expecting it on middle and off stump and it ends up on leg stump. The batter gets and it's very hard to predict that. That's why he gets a lot of wickets on that short ball. These are difficult bowlers to play, and they are so different. Mitchell Starc is very different to Hazelwood, and Pat Cummins is also different to Hazelwood. And of course, Pat Cummins and Mitchell Stark are different. So it's a really wonderful attack they've got. But the thing is that attack also in another year or two, that attack is also going to face this problem because the
Next 1.5 years is like one procession of retirements.
Already started. No, Saudi is gone. Ashwin is gone. So a lot of those players are going to.
Yeah, let's come to that actually. I mean, we should talk about that. I mean, hopefully in the near future, we will do an episode only on Ashwin. But today, given the fact that he's announced his international retirement, I think it's important to touch upon Ashwin. We don't. I mean, it's a first of all a surprise that he's doing this in the middle of the series, but we don't know the exact reason for that yet. There's a bit of conspiracy theories.
No, man. Rohit said in the press conference that essentially they told him in some way that the next 2 tests he is not in the plan. So he must have thought, okay, next 2 tests, the next proper series is going to be what in England? No. After that, it's November, so it's like 1 more year. He's already 38. So I think. Logically, he decided, okay, why not? Why not take an early vacation and go home?
If he was, I mean, it's first of all surprising that he was told that because they haven't seen the pitches, and traditionally, Melbourne and Sydney, it's good to have a spinner there, but who knows? Maybe they have other reasons. But yeah, I mean, I think we should talk about the career as such. Such a fantastic career. Spanned 13 years or more, about 13 years, I think. Yeah. And, come
on. Do you really think that something like a retirement happens on a whim like this? I mean, Ashwin is 38. He's probably been thinking about it for a while,
No, it's about the middle of the series. That's all. It's not about retirement.
That's happened. No, Ganguly retired in the middle of the series. Kumble retired in the middle of the series. Dhoni retired in the middle of the series. So it's not unusual. Even
Kumble was middle of what? Kumble was end.
Yeah, right? 3rd test.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I know I'm only surprised because I thought that they might
actually, ironically, all 4 have done it in the middle of a series against Australia only.
Yeah, correct. 2 at home and 2 away. Yeah. But yeah, let's India's greatest bowler, at least for now.
At least, no, I think already Bumrah is number 1, man. I think Ashwin is 2. Sad but true from an Ashwin fan. But okay, see, I was just looking at his stats. One thing that really, really struck me is that he strikes at 50.2, man. And I just did a Cricinfo thing where I put a filter for people who have taken minimum 200 wickets. And I just, saw who strikes fastest. In the top 25, there is just 1 spinner. And that is Ashwin. And he's at 10th. Shortly, Bumrah will join that list. And Ashwin will go to 11. But in the top 25, there is no spinner. No spinner strikes as fast as him. He's striking faster than Lilly, dude. That is like crazy, man, for a spinner. I mean, you can say, okay, I mean, you can do all the slander that you want. No, he has helpful pitches and all that. But he takes wickets faster than other spinners who also had the advantage of that pitch.
Also, let's first of all throw that out the window, okay?
Yeah.
Come on. Every bowler in their home conditions has their advantage. We have seen what Stark and Cummins have here. We have seen what Anderson has in England. We have seen what Rabada has in South Africa. So forget about all this doctored and all that.
Yeah, if not for this New Zealand series, no, he would have had a strike rate of less than 50, dude. I mean, that for a spinner is like mental. That for a bowler is like mental, not spinner. For a bowler, it's mental. But for a spinner, I mean, under 60 is great spinner. If you're striking under 60, you're like a world-class spinner. This guy is going nearly under 50. I mean, that is like, champion stuff. And as Karthikeya has written, and this is one obsession that I had, that people who take 6 wickets in a test match, that is just 1 player has done it, like Murli. 5 wickets in a test match, I think 3, including Ashwin. Ashwin, Lilly, and Hadley, I think. So, I mean, that is crazy amount of wickets in a crazy frequency, dude. I mean, that's all-time great level. Whichever way you look at that stats, it's like all-time great level. 37 fifers in 200 innings. If you say fifer is like 100, it's like a commemorative thing. I mean, 37 times in like 200 times he has gone out to bowl. So that's like crazy, man.
3,700s basically, but even more. I think.
More, yeah. I think if a team makes 300,
150.
yeah, if a team makes 300, 5 wickets like 150, no. So 37 150s in 200 times you have gone out to bat. That batsman we had already started building temples.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean he's like I think he's India's second best cricketer. I mean him and Kumble, I don't know how to rate. I would say bowling alone they are on neck to neck, but this guy has 3,500 runs and 6 centuries and he can bat. So I think he's India's probably second or third best after Kapil Dev. And Bumrah, Kapil Dev, and Ashwin, whichever way you want to put it.
The only player in Test history out of 3,204 who so far played Test cricket, who has 500 wickets and 5 Test hundreds or more. The fact that India go to all these places, and the fact that when India go, the conditions are less conducive to spin bowling in those places than they even normally are, is a tribute to Ashwin and Jadeja. No, I mean teams don't want to give India conditions where India will play both of them and 3 fast bowlers in the same 11, because that makes a damn good Indian. I mean, so India have also tempted fate, and in the one of the WTC finals, they did play both spinners and they did well, but it was still not a well balanced side. They needed a fast bowler because those conditions were like fast bowlers conditions. It is a tribute to Ashwin. No, I mean Ashwin has 102 wickets outside Asia at 33. Like he has 3 wickets a Test match. His record outside Asia is pretty much what James Anderson's record is in Asia. Nobody says that James Anderson's record is what it is because of doctored pitches. And Ashwin's record is not because of doctored pitches. Come on.
Yeah, I think no, that whole theory can be forgotten for now. But yeah, I mean, one of the things with Ashwin though is that even there have been Indian pitches on day one that have not been as helpful, where he has produced, man. I mean, the drift that he gets, the sort of what he's able to do with the ball, other than turn it, that is what makes Ashwin like an absolutely stunning cricketer. I mean, he brings the sort of craft he's able to bring to that ball. It's amazing. I mean, we've seen
it is one thing. It is one thing to do like 4 or 5 different variations on a ball. Like he can do that, but it's an entirely different thing that all those 4 or 5 variations are pitched exactly on that spot where he wants to pitch them, and he doesn't give the batsman the opportunity to go decisively on the front foot or the back foot. And to do that like 90 times out of 100 or 9,000 times out of 10,000 is like, that is what it is, man. That is what separates Ashwin from the rest. Skill variation in the days of T20 bowlers, I mean they come with all kinds of variations. How accurate can you be, and what is the control that you exert? That's what makes a test bowler. No, and Ashwin has like master level, genius level control, dude. Like you hardly see him get hit for like 3.5, 4 runs on over.
He's the one of his generation.
He is by far, and as I said, the difference is that a lot of what he does is so subtle that you have to study it. Unlike even Vaughan, you have to study, but Vaughan had a lot of sort of things going for him in terms of the televised appeal that his bowling had. Ashwin is far more subtle, but equally as masterful with the ball.
Also, Vaughan was also, I mean, when Vaughan started in 1992, basically Test cricket had been through nearly a decade and more, where basically spin was absolutely in decline. I mean, finger spinners were not getting anything, and there weren't that many good wrist spinners. I mean, India tried Hirvani and Sivaramakrishnan, but it didn't really last, you know. But I mean, basically, Test cricket had become like a fast bowlers game, especially in the 80s and 90s. And Shane Warne came along, and he was like basically a novelty. Batters have not been used to facing anything like him, and he has extraordinary control. And Ashwin also has a lot significant control, and he spins the ball really hard. That's what he has in common with Warne. Both of them could spin their basic stock ball was spun really hard, and the control of that was like really superb. And Ashwin's control was, especially after like 2013, his control was really marvelous. It's been really hard to play. He gets so much drift, gets so much dip, he gets so much, and then because he gets so much drift and dip, he also developed balls which wouldn't drift and dip. Like his undercutter, for instance. The reason he's such a superb bowler to left-handers is because of that undercutter. It's like the finger spinner's version of the flipper. It's the seam is pointing from like square leg to point. So when the ball, so that the revs don't create the dip, because of the direction of the revs, and the ball pitches and it often skids on. So it's like it is really like the finger spinner's flipper. And Ashwin has got so many wickets that way. I mean, he gets so many left-handers LBW. Both on front foot and back foot. And yeah, I mean, more than the pitches, I think DRS has contributed a lot to Ashwin's record. More like that is undeniable. But that DRS has been available to all kinds of bowlers, all spinners in the world. And even in matches playing by Ashwin does like 15, 16 runs per wicket better than all the other spinners, especially all the other opposition spinners. So, I mean, there has to be a reason for that. I mean, it's not that it can't be that the pitches are doctored only for Ashwin, but not for the opposition spinner. That's not the case. So, he is a great bowler.
Yeah, he is fantastic, and DRS is one thing, and also purely in terms of appreciation. I mean, Mahesh is not there on this pod, but as Mahesh has often mentioned, how the enhancements of television coverage has helped him appreciate Ashwin so much more. With the replays and the spin vision and the super slow mo, you actually get to see what he does so closely, and that is amazing to watch and to study and then to understand how at least to vaguely understand and try to get at his craft. Will be. I mean, it's a bit of an irony that he finished the penultimate series that he had was a 3-0 defeat in India. I mean, Ashwin's pretty much played his entire career without losing a series in India, apart from, of course, the England series in 2011 and 2011, 12, and this one, and the New Zealand series. So, yeah, it's almost like a bookend. He began his career around the time when India lost a series at home. He ended his career when India lost another series at home. And in the middle, they didn't lose anything. And largely thanks to him. So,
dominance.
Yeah, exactly. Dominance. And a big part of Ashwin and Jadeja. I mean, without Ashwin and Jadeja, India could not have dominated at home the way they did. That's the kind of quality they got. The, absolutely marvelous bowler, will be missed. But again, such a fantastic, analyst of the game that he probably has a long career ahead of him in that role, whether it is in commentary or whether it is on his own channels.
Sure, in commentary, man. There's a real shortage of bowlers on the commentary scene.
Bro, all that he can do later. First of all, he is now
There's like
going to
only
play for
two-
CSK.
There's
Let
only
him do that.
there's only two bowler commentators on the commentary scene, and I'm not counting Wasim Akram, Bishop and O'Doul. I mean, I'm absolutely fed up of like all these like Matthew Hayden telling us how batting techniques are awful at the end of the day, man. It's just annoying. And like these people, they're setting it up like, wow, we lost Sunil Gavaskar and Matthew Hayden, two great openers. Why these current idiot openers are so poor? Like what should they do? What should these foolish people do? What obvious thing which can be explained in 5 minutes should they do?
They should play with soft hands.
Yeah, all the best to Ashwin. Privileged to have watched his career from start to finish. Privileged to have seen such a marvelous bowler, all the spells. We'll talk about all that in a episode reserved only for Ashwin. Thank you for joining. We'll see you after the Melbourne Test. 81allout.com is our website. At 81allout is our handle on X. You can subscribe to our podcast, rate it, review it, and it'll be great if you can also, if you want to get back to us, you can send a feedback on the website, feedback on X, feedback on Spotify. They allow comments there now. We've also republished some cricket classics. I'll put links to all the books. You can pick it up. War Minus the Shooting, Cricket Beyond the Bazaar, and The Summer Game. Thank you for listening. Good night and take care.
Won the series. They're going to get back for two. India home. Lords goes wild.